Welcome to this week's edition of 10-Day Trips. The reason it's 10-day travel is because you get 2 weeks off. If you take 2 weeks off from your job or school or whatever, 2 weeks is a pretty good amount of time to be spending abroad just for a little trip. You get 2 days of travel and buffer time to recoup, and then you get 10 days in the foreign lands. We're going to be taking you around Ireland and Northern Ireland today. You're going to be flying into Dublin once again on Norwegian Air for $114. Generally speaking, during May. This trip we have planned, we did a rough outline, May 28th through June 8th. And most of these going to Europe are out of New York, which you can get a cheap flight to New York. You can get it from anywhere in the US.
For sure, from anywhere.
It's nuts.
We're flying into Dublin, and lovely city, one of my favorites. And you're gonna look to stay at the Abbey Court Hostel. It is very, very good location, about a third of a mile from the city center. Yeah. And on Hostel World, an 8.4 rating. And again, anything above a 7 we'll usually say you should go for, but obviously do your research. But 8.4 should be good to go. That's Abbey Court Hostel in Dublin.
Yeah, it's gonna be $16.30 a night, depending on when you go. But during this time, it was $16.30, which isn't bad. And you're gonna see that it's not bad here in a little bit.
Right.
From Dublin, actually, while you're in Dublin, make sure you go to the touristy thing called the Guinness Brewery and the Jameson Distillery. Well worth it. You get so much free alcohol.
It's true.
The Jameson Distillery was amazing. It's not where they actually distill any of the whiskey anymore. It's the old Jameson Distillery. It moved south. I forgot what city it's in now. But it's not there anymore, but the tour is pretty great.
I believe it's called the Guinness Storehouse also, not brewery.
But the brewery is right next to the storehouse.
It's true. But it is a touristy thing. I think it's the most touristy thing in Dublin, like by actual polls or whatever. But
maybe the Pelican Bar too.
Oh,
what is it?
Temple Bar?
Temple Bar.
Temple Bar is pretty popular.
Yeah.
But Guinness, I think, is up there, but that's because it's worth it. It's great. It's a great tour. Free beer at the end, free beer along the way, great Irish music. You really can't miss out on that.
Yeah, and the Irish music is live.
It's true.
It's pretty sweet. From Dublin, you're gonna head to Galway on the CityLink bus, $15, 3 hours, and you go to my favorite city in Ireland, which is Galway.
Galway was lovely. Make sure while you're there to visit the Crane Bar. They have this thing, you just go upstairs on, I think, any night of the week.
I think so.
And people just come in and start playing, and then other people come in and join, and they'll all kind of harmonize together. They don't even know each other some of the time, so it's really fascinating. And a Crane Bar in Galway.
Yeah,
can't beat it.
By the time the night was through, there were like 15 musicians playing different instruments.
And they sounded very, very good.
So good,
yeah.
It was great. Also, right outside of Galway, you can do a little falconry at Ashford Castle, which was so much fun.
It's super cheap too.
Yeah, so cheap. So if you have a little extra cash to spend on your trip, Ashford Castle.
Lovely golf course at Ashford Castle as well.
I don't play golf.
Whatever. It's going to be a little more expensive in Galway than it was in Dublin, just because it's a smaller town. It's going to be about $28 per night at the Galway City Hostel and Bar. But the good news is it's basically right in the city center, and it is a 9.5 rated. So the $28 is almost worth it, being essentially in the city center and as close to a 10 rating as really you're going to get on Hostel World.
This is very true. From Galway, you're going to need your passport because you're going north to Derry, Northern Ireland, also known as Londonderry. But when you're in Northern Ireland, do not call it Londonderry. They don't like that. And the bus is going to be about $28. You're going to have to transfer. It's about a 5.5 hour day on the bus. And this is the 6th day of the trip. So we're on day number 6. And we head up to Derry. This is the most expensive city on this trip. And it's $67 a night to stay at the Walled City B&B. It's got an 8.3 rating and it's only half a mile from the city center, so pretty good location, pretty good rating. but it's not cheap.
It's not cheap at all, and you know, if there was something else in regular Ireland that you're like, I can't spend $67, there are plenty of places in you know, the Republic of Ireland. Just message us, comment on our videos, and we'll reply with other good spots to stay.
Yeah, because Derry is right on the border, so you can stay in Ireland and then go into Derry the next day, explore Derry, and then go on to our fourth city,
which is Belfast, which we stayed there for a couple nights. And it was nice. It's a nice city, and it's far cheaper than Derry and Galway. It's about $16.50 per night at the Belfast City Backpacker. It's a little farther outside the city center, about 1.5 miles, but that's an easy walk.
Yeah.
And a 7.7 rating. You know, right in that average kind of meat of the curve there. So.
Yeah. And getting to Belfast, you're not going to take a bus this time, you're going to take a train. It's a short 2.5 to 3 hour train ride, so it's not so bad. Also, while you're in Northern Ireland, if you also have a little extra cash to spend on some activities, the Game of Thrones tour, do it. You can see some of the coastline that they've shot in Game of Thrones, and also, what's the Winterfell? You can see Winterfell.
The Giant's Causeway also in Northern Ireland is the place to go, and again, $16.50 a night in Belfast. Good city, good bars. I went to a couple good bars, and it's a good time. And then on the final day, on the 10th day, you're gonna have to take the bus back to Dublin because it's just the flight out of there is so much cheaper than anywhere else.
Yeah, about $500 cheaper than flying out of Belfast.
So you want to sacrifice that and take the bus back to Dublin and fly home on Norwegian for, again, only about $175, which is astounding. The Norwegian Airlines rates.
Oh, they're so good. Yeah, you're gonna hear Norwegian a lot when we're flying to Europe because they have the best prices, and we would normally say WOW, and if you're looking for a layover in Iceland, I would definitely recommend WOW because it's generally the same price as Norwegian, but they force you to stop over in Iceland, and you can stop over for up to, I think it's up to 3 days on WOW and up to 7 days on Iceland Air.
And I mean, that's always an option. If you want to fly WOW, just stop over in Iceland for a couple days, and you can't really beat that.
So absolutely. So the totals come out to $680 for the entire time. That's $289 on flights, $75 on transportation while you're in the country, and $314 on accommodation, which is high.
And that's very high. And again, just looking for couch surfing in all these cities, if you want to save some money, is the way to go. The Irish were very accommodating to us, and even in Dublin, we stayed for about $7 a night at a campsite outside the city and took the bus in. That's always an option. So that there are options like that out there if that price point is a little high for you.
Yeah, and the food price point on a scale of 1 to 5, what do you think?
I'd probably say at 2. It's more cheap than Italy, but it's definitely not cheap. It's you know, it's,
you're gonna spend $15 a meal.
Yeah,
minimum.
Yeah, I mean, obviously depending on if you're going to McDonald's or not.
Well, yeah. If we're talking local cuisine, like a thing of Irish stew, will cost you like $14 at a bar.
That's true.
A pub.
That's true. So. And the beer is not cheap either. We were paying about €8-9 just for a Guinness, which is a local beer. So
it's nuts.
So it's a little crazy, but you know, it's worth it to go out and hang in an Irish bar with the Irish folk.
Yeah, it is.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of 10-Day Trips. Check back every week for a new video. Drop a like on the video if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe to us if you're new. And if you hated it, tell us why in the comments, what we can do better, what we got wrong, etc. And remember to keep coming back every week for more travel inspiration and wallet preservation here on Back to the Peaceful City.